Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to another episode of Life with Brian. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day out there. It is a cold day in Houston. We just had the winter storm. I forgot what the name of it was. Ivan something. Aaron hit Texas and obviously a number of other states as well. But we had snow here in Houston, and you know, I feel like we've getting these winter freezes, snowstorms more frequently. You know, I've been in Houston since about 2006, maybe 2005. Anyways, and I think, or it feels like in the past like 12 months, you know, this is like the second freeze winter storm we've had. You know, for the longest time when I was here in Houston, we don't see snow down here, right? But I feel like now it's once a year. Maybe it's global warming. I don't know. But I thought I would do a video, guys. I'm actually in my SLS AMG or AMG SLS, depending on your preference. And a couple days ago, when after the storm had hit, I was heading to work, and I was in my Grand Wagoneer, and of course, due to the temperature drop, I had a tire pressure light come on, and I mean, it wasn't that bad. A lot of the snow had already melted by that time, but there was this one little patch where I was kind of slid a little bit, but again, I was driving slow, so no big deal. But when I got to the garage, I was thinking of kind of starting up and running some of my other cars, because they've been sitting in the cold for a couple of days, but I didn't want to mess with any issues, you know, specifically, you know, the tire pressure issues, or, you know, I just kind of wanted to leave them alone and deal with them once the weather got a little bit warmer. But it got me thinking in terms of, you know, obviously I took the SUV because, you know, whenever you're dealing with, you know, slick or rain or snow type situations, at least from my standpoint, I always prefer being in my bigger car, and obviously it's a new car, so at least mechanically I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty sound. But in terms of my other cars, you know, there's certainly a few I can think of. Hello Ferrari, hello Lamborghini, you know, just older Italian supercars, of course. My Aston Martin. But there's certainly a group of my cars which I would never, ever dream of taking it if I absolutely had to get somewhere in bad weather, or even somewhat bad weather. And sorry guys, going off on a tangent here. But anyways, I recently kind of gotten a little bit into kind of watches, and I know that there's kind of a term in the enthusiast watch collector circles where people refer to as like their beater watch, which I think has a slightly different connotation than a beater car, which is kind of what the point of this video is, my long-winded way of saying why the heck am I shooting this video, because I actually tend to drive, out of all my supercars, and you know, I would throw in there, you know, my 360 Monida, my Gallardo, my 12C. I would never drive that, even on a somewhat warm day, with no issues. But my 4GT, obviously this SLS AMG. Out of all my quote-unquote supercars, I feel that this is the car that I would feel, and I do feel most comfortable, oddly enough, taking out in everyday conditions. I wouldn't say necessarily bad conditions like sleet, snow, and heavy rain, but I definitely do not mind taking this out, and I do take it out kind of as almost like an everyday type car, right? It's not in my daily drive, because obviously I have other cars that fit that bill more appropriately. But if I had to daily drive any of my supercars, I would take this car. I would use this car, which is very odd because, you know, you have the gull wing doors, you have kind of the proportions, the long hood, you're constantly worried about, you know, hitting the front when you're parking. There's certain things that make it not very practical. to daily drive, again, I would not daily drive this car, but if I had to daily drive any of my supercars, I actually think it would be this car. Other than a few little gremlins that popped up when I initially got the car, it's been genuinely trouble-free. And getting back to the beater watch term in that specifically niche of the world, at least my understanding when people refer to beater watches, it's a watch that is kind of like an everyday, every use kind of watch. You just grab and go. It may not be like your Patek or your super nice Rolex or even your Omega or whatever, but it's a watch that's very like reliable, dependable. You just grab and go for basically everyday use, casual, dressed up, whatever. It just kind of grab and go. You're not too worried about, you know, what happens to it. And it's basically called your beater watch. So obviously there's certain things here that don't apply directly to that analogy specifically. Obviously the SLS AMG is not a cheap car, so certainly I wouldn't mind if it got totaled or someone threw a shopping cart into it. So from that standpoint, from a cost standpoint, and from a, yeah, you're not too worried, you can speed on it, it's not really that analogous. But in terms of the analogy of you kind of just get into it and go, and it can be used for many purposes, I think this is a great great analogy, or a great, at least analogy in my mind. I should get off of this road before I kill myself one second. Sorry guys, hit a little bit of a traffic congestion there. But anywho, so yeah, out of all my supercars, I think I would classify this as my beater supercar in terms of if given the choice to just drive one of my supercars the most for really any purpose, any day of the week, weekends, you know, running errands, whatever, I would pick this car. And that actually really does surprise me, because when I first got the car, and even before when I researched the car, I was thinking it's a weekend car, maybe once a month, once every couple of months, kind of take it out, have some fun, and just put it back in the garage. But again, in terms of how I rotate my cars, this car actually stays in the active rotation more than any of my other supercars. And I thoroughly enjoy driving it. I love the gull-wing doors. I love the sound that the naturally aspirated V8 makes, as you guys heard at the beginning of the video. I love the cold starts. It's just a really fun car to drive. It's unique. You don't see a lot of these out on the road. And yeah, it's just a really fun car to have. It's always kind of an experience. And haven't broken down yet, hasn't stranded me. And it's just been a really fun and reliable experience so far. So again, I've just been recently kind of into watches and watching videos about watches, and the whole idea of a beater watch got me thinking, you know, what would be my beater car, but not so much maybe my, you know, regular cars, but in terms of my supercars, what would I consider my beater supercar? It would definitely be this, my SLS AMG, which, you know, might be kind of a weird pick for that, but I mean, quite honestly guys, comparing it to my McLaren, I mean, good God, my McLaren, that may be actually one of the cars I really regret getting. And sometimes the stereotypes and the stereotypes are true about certain cars, certain brands. My Ford GT, it's just, there's certain things about that car that whether it's the car still makes me nervous to a certain degree, the usability, practicality of it, my Gallardo, my Modena, the age, and obviously that age of Italian supercar, it speaks for itself. And you know, the fact that this is an automatic, you know, I know it's I mean, I love manuals, as you guys know, but the fact that you just get in and put your foot down and drive, sometimes I just don't feel like driving. I don't feel like shifting my own gears, but actually thinking in terms of my supercars. I mean, if you consider, I mean, the R8, you know, okay, the R8, yeah, for sure, was supercar. My NSX, for sure. You know, the NSX is, in terms of, I would probably put my NSX closest to this in terms of my beater supercar, but the reason why I would not classify that as my beater supercar is because I would actually be concerned about anything happening with that car and getting dented or damaged. I mean, I drive it, but I definitely am more cautious, how should I say, with how I use that, because I just love that car, for one, and yes, it's my baby, it's my favorite. So this one I care a little bit less about, and I just use it more. I drive it much more. So yeah, I just wanted to make a video, guys, because the weather has been a little bit crazy, and I thought to myself, which of these cars might fall into my beater supercar category. So yeah, just want to share this video with you guys as I'm taking the car out to go grab lunch right now. Hope you guys like the video. Give it a thumbs up, comment below, like, subscribe. Please support the channel. Hope to catch you guys in the next video. Take care, bye.